Yet another heartbreaking end to the season for the Miami Dolphins as they lose 26-7 to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Wildcard. So, it continues. I still have not seen a single playoff win from the Miami Dolphins. Now, there were several factors to blame in this game, but two factors that are not to blame for this loss are the weather and injuries. I've said this before. Injuries are not an excuse. It's the NFL. It's next man up. You got to play through injuries. Weather is not an excuse. It is a factor. It determines how you play the game, but it's not an excuse to lose. You need to make adjustments to play in extreme weather conditions like extreme cold, extreme heat, extreme rain, extreme snow, whatever. You have to make adjustments, not excuses. And the Dolphins certainly did not. Mike McDaniel continually calling the same few run plays and the same have Tua pitch it to somebody 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and watch them get destroyed right there or even lose yardage. Every single play, it seemed like. I don't get how you continue making that call when the Chiefs have very clearly figured that out and it's not going to work. Now, was Tua to blame in this loss? Partially. Tua did not play a good game, and he still hasn't played a very good game in cold weather whatsoever. But unless he was audibling all those terrible calls, I can't really blame him too much. Now, I don't know if McDaniel was making all those calls because he didn't trust Tua in this game or in this weather, or what, which I can kind of understand. Very few quarterbacks throw very well in this weather. Very few receivers catch very well in this weather, which is why you have to make adjustments to make shorter passing plays and run the ball more. But whatever. I'm not 100% sure on blaming Tua. Now, like I said, McDaniel was a huge issue here in terms of the defense. Yes, they were extremely injured, but they also did not play that great of a game, especially in the second half. I really don't know what to say there. They just didn't seem to know how to stop Kansas City, especially in the run game, which is what they tried to do most of the time, again, because of the weather. Now, I don't know what the Dolphins are going to do for next season. I'm going to guess that they're going to try and keep Tua, they're going to keep McDaniel, Waddle and Hill, and everyone, and become one of the highest paid teams in the league because of it. But because of how they've been playing in the last few weeks, I don't know if this team deserves to be one of the highest paid teams in the league. I know that at the beginning of the year, they looked unstoppable with the offense scoring a fuck ton. I mean, they scored 70 on the Broncos, but the offense in the last few games has been almost non-existent because it's become repetitive. Every team knows if you cover Waddle and Hill and Mostert or Achan, whoever, on the run game, the Dolphins don't do anything outside of them. They don't utilize any players outside of them. So if you just cover those guys, you have basically grounded Miami's offense. And until this team figures out how to utilize their other players more, they're not going to get anywhere. I'll be doing a full season recap in a few days or so. I'm not exactly sure when I'll make that, but I'll talk about the season from beginning to end. what led to this moment. But for now, what I'm going to say is the expectations this year were a playoff win. Beginning of the year, they were a playoff win. Later in the year, you were expected to win the division. You failed at both tasks. Until you can prove otherwise, I feel like this team is still the same old Dolphins. So, I'll see you in the season recap. Blessed be. Fins up.